Hey listeners, welcome back to another out-of-world news story with Unraveled Tales, where time itself unravels its captivating tales and reveals the hidden secrets of the past. Prepare to embark on an extraordinary journey as we delve into the depths of history and bringing you riveting and immersive real stories from different eras. Today's story is about, I'm the husband of a cheating wife who has been cheated the neighbor for the last 6 months. Telling my daughter Izzy was the hardest thing I ever did. She was too young to understand what her mother had done. I decided to figure out the best way to end it. I hope you all enjoying this long story. Okay, let's go on to the story. My name is Ethan. I have a good job working for an engineering firm. I have just turned 31, married to Luna. We have been married for 7 years, giving birth to the other love of my life, Sable, or Izzy as I call my 6-year-old daughter. I met Luna technically on the rebound from her first and only boyfriend. They had dated for 2 years before the guy started cheating on her for not putting out. Luna, like me, was very conservative when it came to dating. She wanted to wait till marriage. When she found out her boyfriend was cheated, she was devastated and dumped him. A friend brought her to one of our company picnics where we met just after she graduated from college. I later found out that it was a setup by one of her friends and one of my friends. We immediately hit it off. Knowing her history, I didn't make any sexual moves on her right away. I wasn't a virgin, but I would never have been considered experienced in the sex department. It was just over 6 months from when we met that we agreed to marry. Luna didn't make it her wedding night as a virgin. 2 weeks after we were engaged, we were lying in bed after a night of drinking. Luna's libido had always increased when she drank. Luna slid up my body and told me she was ready. Lucky for me, I had purchased some condoms to get ready for our wedding night, or that's what I told her. After marriage, our sex life was great but basic by most others' standards. We decided to have a child early on. After Izzy was born, I thought we had the perfect marriage. My career had taken off and Luna seemed to enjoy being a mom and a part-time teacher. Like all good things, it couldn't last. I never would have predicted that my perfect wife would cheat on me. Luna had always been friendly with other men but never the type to flirt or the like. I found out that her journey to cheating started at the neighborhood New Year's Eve party. The kids were all staying at one house with some teenagers babysitting while the adult-only party was at another house. There were at least 20 couples with the booze flowing. The hosts had mistletoe hung up around the house. There was a lot of good-natured kissing among friends. At midnight, everyone was kissing everyone, some more intense than others. Our good friends Joe and Jennifer were standing next to us at midnight. They have a daughter, Mary, the same age as Izzy. Jennifer is a doctor while Joe does some contracting work part-time, which allows him to care for their daughter. Our daughters would often play together with Joe or my wife taking them to activities. After Luna and I had our midnight kiss, the party continued for a few more hours. During that time, I lost track of Luna for a period of time. When we got home, Luna was on fire. I thought was the result of alcohol and some of the kissing. What I didn't know was that Joe had pulled into the kids' bedroom where they made out like teenagers. That was the start of their affair, the start of their secret getaways, the start of my perfect wife cheating on me. Luna later said that didn't start having sex till St. Patrick's Day. She had given Joe blowjobs a few times, but it was after they were making decorations for a St. Patrick's Day party that they played for the first time. I missed several signs that should have tipped me off. Luna was secretive about her and Joe's time together. Izzy became tired of playing with Mary, but Luna insisted that they continue to play together. Luna's interest in sex with me had diminished. There were other signs, but I simply didn't want to see them. I thought her renewed interest in working out and dieting was to get in shape for me. I wasn't picking up on all the texting she was doing at strange times. If I asked about it, she just blew me off that it was one of her girlfriends. They had been playing for almost 3 months before I suspected. It was during drunken sex that my suspicions were finally aroused. We had been at a function at my firm and Luna had a lot to drink. One thing about Luna, when she drinks, she gets horny. There was no sleeping for me that night. I tried to rationalize her comment. I just didn't want to believe that my wife would cheat. There was no other explanation. I was thinking about all the time that she and Joe spent together. The next morning, I simply asked her to make love. The look on her face confirmed something was up. Her face went pale before she blamed the alcohol, but the stammering and the look of panic on her face told me she was lying. Update: Opus has done some research to confirm if his wife is cheating. One of the first investigations was to check the wife's phone and email. Update to see if Opus's research can yield some clues. I did some research on how to tell if your spouse is cheating on you. One of the first suggestions was to check the spouse's phone and email. I shouldn't have been surprised that when I checked her phone when she was in the shower that it was password protected. We both had passwords on our phones, but we both knew each other's, or did. The password I put in that I thought was hers didn't work. I thought through the other signs that included diminished intimacy in bed. We certainly had that, but I blamed myself for the long hours I was putting in at work. The site I looked at said to watch the laundry. If your sheets were being changed more often and laundered more often, there might be a reason that more activity is happening on them than you know. It wasn't our sheets, but I had noticed that the guest room sheets were in the laundry quite often. We always did laundry on Sundays. In the hamper, I found sheets from the guest bed. The smell of something was faint but unmistakable. I didn't want to believe it, but everything was pointing to my wife cheating on me. I tried to convince myself that I misheard her or it was just a drunken fantasy. My logical suspect, of course, was Joe. They spent a lot of time together and it was his name she called out. The Memorial Day neighborhood party was 2 days away. Joe and his family would be there. I was going to watch for any signs cheating, hoping that I was just overreacting. It was the annual party at the clubhouse to celebrate the opening of the pool. The kids were playing and everyone was having a good time, except me. I was watching Luna and Joe every move, trying not to be obvious. I thought it was just my imagination projecting what I wanted to see between the two. There were constant looks between them, the two, each time checking to see if Jennifer or I were watching. Twice my wife scurried off saying she had to go to the bathroom. Not surprising, Joe waited a minute and announced he had to pee. The third time, I discreetly followed. I watched as Joe walked right past the bathrooms going in the utility closet. I snuck up, standing next to the door where no one could see me. The door had vents in the bacho that allowed me to hear what was going on inside. At first, I just heard muffled moans. It was Joe's voice I heard telling my wife how much he needed her and couldn't wait any longer. There was more rustling when I heard my wife's voice for the first time, confirming my fears that she was in there. "Joe, I want you too, but we can't have sex here. Ethan's been watching us like a hawk. I think he suspects." Luna's voice cut me like a knife. I walked away. I was in shock, probably looking like a zombie. I made my way back to the party, finding Jennifer. She immediately asked me what was wrong. I told her I wasn't feeling well and was going to go home. I asked her to tell my wife. When I got home, I threw up. I laid on the couch for about an hour, feeling sorry for myself. My fears had been realized. I was well past denial. Now I was mad but didn't know what to do. I wanted revenge and I wanted proof. I was going to find out where they were doing it and when. Luna came home several hours later with a concerned attitude. She asked how I was feeling. Being gone so long, I wondered how many times they snuck into the utility room to play. I wanted revenge. The good thing about being an engineer is knowing smart technical people. I knew a nice thing about smartphones was that you can't hide their location unless you turn them off. One of my techs told me that it wasn't hard as the owner of the service to access the GPS data of the phone. With his help, we did just that. There was nothing out of the ordinary. There were plenty of trips to Joe and Jennifer's home, but not as many as I would have expected. I guessed that most of the sex was happening in our house. If that was true, it would give me an advantage. The imperative was to catch them in the act and record them. I need intelligence. One of my techs told me about an app that would hack her phone to mirror her texts to my phone. When I told him I doubted I could get access to her phone, he said I didn't have to. All I had to do was send her an email with the embedded program. The tech grabbed my phone and had it programmed in minutes. All you have to do is hit send, and when she opens the email you will have everything she is texting. Without hesitation, I hit send. Next, I had to figure a way to record them in the act. My tech laughed at me. "That's easy, you have a security system with cameras that you can access from your phone that record already, right?" "Yeah, but all the cameras are outside. We can add wireless cameras that also record sound anywhere and everywhere we want. We can go to lunch and pick them up. I'll need an hour to install them." I had the perfect opportunity. Izzy was starting dance camp on Wednesday and so was Mary. Luna would be taking her that day. I was certain they were going to use the time the girls were at dance camp to have sex, but the time to take and register Izzy would give my tech just enough time to install the cameras. Update 1. Opus's plan was coming true. Luna had opened Opus's email and the app had installed. Now Opus can getting her text the same time she sent to Joe. On my way home, I stopped at the electronics store to buy the cameras I was told to get. When I was in the checkout lane, I received a ding on my phone. Luna had opened my email and the app had installed. I had to turn the sound off so she wouldn't know I was getting her text the same time she was. Izzy was prancing around excited about her dance camp. I tried to feign excitement, but it wasn't working. Once Izzy went to bed, I retreated to my office, giving Luna time alone, thinking she would text Joe. I was right. They got into a big conversation. She was sending him pics of her body. I was expecting to see some big dong, but he looked just as average as me. Joe was excited about them dropping the girls at dance camp before coming to our house to play. Joe was glad that the camp went all day. He was looking forward to spending the day playing my wife. Luna told him that she wanted to get there early so they wouldn't have to wait in a long line for registration. She was just as anxious to back home and get Joe's. With the registration time, my tech and I should have just enough time to install the cameras. My tech met me at the McDonald's where I parked my car. We waited up the street till Luna and Izzy rolled by. My job was to put up the 6 cameras while the tech did the programming. The programming was the hard part. They were motion activated and could also be activated by remote. I put them in the kitchen, living room, the basement, our bedroom, and 2 in the guest bedroom. I figured the guest bedroom was where they would do it. We made it just in time. I watched on my phone as 2 cars pulled in the driveway. When I got back to the office, I tried to pull out my phone to see if they were having sex. I couldn't do it. I would have to wait till I got home. The key to making the plan work was for me to keep my cool. I tried but couldn't help but ask some sarcastic questions to Luna about enjoying her day. The panic look on her face was enjoyable, but I had to stop if I was going to get the revenge I wanted. I retreated to my office again after Izzy went to bed. I watched as the outside cameras documented them pulling into the garage. Once inside the kitchen, they were in an immediate embrace, kissing and grabbing at each other. They didn't stay long in the kitchen, quickly moving upstairs to the guest bedroom. The sound was muffled, but the picture was very clear of them stripping their clothes off. I fast-forwarded through their kissing. Funny thing was, while I was watching them play, they were blowing up the text messages on how great their sex was. Luna did say something to Joe about me acting strange. Joe just blew it off, was a ducking idiot, and knew nothing. I couldn't watch the rest, but I knew I had them. I wanted better sound. Early the next morning before work, I adjusted the cameras in the guest room in a manner that would allow me to hear them better. At work the next day, I watched on my phone to see their cars pull up like the day before. Right on schedule, they went up to the bedroom. In the privacy of my office, I watched them get ready to play, and the sound was good even over the phone. I knew I had gone a little too far with my sarcasm, and Luna was on edge. I tell you, he knows something. I can tell, Luna said. Even if he suspects something, he can't prove a thing. He's where he always is, at work like my wife. They are too stupid to know that while they work while we play, Joe said, laughing. Don't you love the fact that their hard work is paying for us to be able to play like rabbits? I had seen enough. Update 2, Opus had strong proof, but now the question was what he gonna do with it. Opus wanted to make her pay. See what happened next. Our marriage was over. I decided to go to an attorney to figure out the best way to end it. As mad as I was at Luna, I knew this was going to be hardest on Izzy. One of my texts suggested a good lawyer for just my kind of case. He wanted to see me right that same day I called. I showed the lawyer some of the video and text messages. He laughed. We can destroy her. He told me that our state was a no-fault state, but to keep the videos private, he was sure she would agree to anything. I told him I wanted everything I could get. The lawyer suggested that I contact Jennifer and get her in on the plan. It would be more effective to hit them both at the same time. He gave me the number of one of his colleagues who would represent her. I called Jennifer's office and was directed to her receptionist. I left a message for Dr. Miller to call me as soon as possible. Not 10 minutes later, my phone rang with Jen on the line. What's wrong? Is everyone okay? Jen, we need to talk. She immediately asked if everyone was okay. I told her that everyone was physically fine. Her tone sounded like she knew what was coming. She told me to be at her office at 5 to meet after her last patient. When I walked in an examining room, she shut the door and spoke first. That mother ducker is cheating again, right? How do you know? I asked. I know my work takes up a lot of my time, but I'm not stupid. I was getting suspicious about all the time he was spending with your wife. He thinks he is so slick. Tell me you have proof. I pulled out my phone and showed her a couple of short clips of our spouses playing. He's dead. That mother ducker is dead. The way you said that, I take it this is not his first time. Jen took a deep breath, first, second, or third. After the last time, I told him no more or it was the end. My lawyer drew up an agreement that if he cheats again, he forfeits any claim to our marital assets. Doesn't sound like you need the lawyer mine recommended. Jen smiled. No, but I will have mine contact yours so we can make a coordinated attack. I told her all the evidence I had, including texts and video. She loved how I tapped into Luna's phone and recorded there. As painful as it was going to be, she suggested that we collect another week or 2 of evidence before we act. Jennifer assumed correctly that I was seeking a divorce given I had already consulted an attorney. We swapped cell numbers and I gave her my lawyer's contact information. I barely got in the car when Jennifer called me. She had called her attorney who would need 2 weeks to prepare to properly destroy Joe. I guess ducking so much during the week they need the weekend to rest. According to their texts, Luna wanted to take the weekend off so she didn't arouse my suspicions any further. They planned to resume their ducking come Monday. Sunday night, Jennifer texted me that she needed to talk to me. I was afraid there might be a problem or she was having second thoughts. I shut the door to my office and called her. The plan was still on, but she said she wanted to remind me to play it cool, and she curiously said under no circumstances should I have sex with my wife. She also said I shouldn't kiss her either. That was not a problem. I was disgusted by being near her anymore. When I got finished with the call, I noticed that Joe had texted Luna some more pics of his body part. He was excited that with the girls in dance camp all week, they would have play camp all week. I actually got pissed when I looked at the pics he sent her. I expected him to have this big that she couldn't say no to, but his wasn't big at all, looked like an average sized. Their routine was the same every day. drop the girls off, go back to our house and play. It was hard watching them play every day. Jennifer asked me to meet her for lunch on Friday. She wanted to go over the plan. She had met with her lawyer and everything should be in place by the end of next week. Her lawyer had talked to mine. The plan was to hit them at the same time. Have divorce paperwork ready for them to sign with the threat that if they didn't, the videos would go viral. Jen again warned me not to have sex with Luna. I told her there was no need to tell me that. I had no interest in even touching her. I asked her why and she said it would send the wrong message to Luna. That weekend, Luna slept in most of Saturday morning till afternoon. She said she wasn't feeling well and didn't exactly look well. According to some texts between Joe and Luna, Joe wasn't feeling well either. On Sunday night, Luna told Joe that she wanted to rest on Monday and maybe they could get together on Tuesday or Wednesday. On Wednesday, once at work, I pulled my phone to watch the cameras. Right on time, Joe showed up. Even though they didn't feel well, they were going to try to have sex. I heard Luna say, "I'm not sure I can do this, my body is really dry and raw." Thursday morning, Luna said she was feeling a little better but was walking funny. I watched intently from my office when Joe showed up at the house. Luna stopped him in the kitchen. "We can't have sex today." Joe didn't argue. "I don't think I could anyway. My body is screaming in pain and I don't think I can get it up. I don't know what is going on." They talked for a while till Luna accused him of giving her an STD. Joe got defensive and left. I called Jennifer, who didn't act surprised or concerned when told her about their illness. We finalized the plans to confront our spouses on Friday. The kids had their final dance class with a little performance. Their grandparents were attending and we had planned on them going with them for the weekend. This wasn't unusual, so neither Luna nor Joe were suspicious. Jennifer told me that she had notified the police to be outside when she confronted Joe. She feared that Joe would get violent when she showed him the evidence he had in the past. Final update, Opus had most everything he needed prepared. The paperwork was ready and had packed 2 suitcases for Luna and hide them away. See in final update how Opus say to bye her. I left for work Friday morning. We got a little delayed after the dance performance. My parents were concerned with how Luna looked. We stood there and talked for over half an hour while Jennifer and Joe left right away. I drove fast and took a shortcut, beating Luna home by a few minutes. I quickly got my presentation ready, including putting out the suitcases. Just as Luna got home, Jennifer texted me. She had already confronted Joe. As she feared, he got violent, hitting her. The police were right there, stopping him before he could do any harm. Joe was going to jail. She had a few bruises and cuts but nothing serious. Luna walked in just as I read Jennifer's last text. With Joe in jail, I was certain Luna had no idea what was about to hit her. "Luna, can you come into the living room?" She walked into the room, noticing the 2 suitcases by the wall. "What's with the suitcases?" she asked. "I'll tell you in a minute. Have a seat in the chair. I have something to show you." I hit play, turning the screen on the TV on. Up popped a screenshot of a text conversation. Luna stood up. "What the hell is this?" I hit pause. "Please sit down. All will be clear in a moment." I yelled at her. I said sit down. She sat down, starting to say something. I put my hand up to tell her to stop. I hit play again. Upon the screen was a shot of our guest bedroom appeared, then faded to Luna and Joe in the bedroom. I watched as Luna gasped, putting her hand to her mouth. They are too ducking stupid to know that while they work while we play. Luna was crying, telling me to stop the TV. I hit pause. What does my loving wife have to say? Tears were flowing down her cheeks. "I'm sorry, it was a one-time thing. You have to believe me, it meant nothing to me." In a very calm voice it said, "Don't lie to me, it will only make it worse." Luna stood up again. "You hacked my phone. That's illegal." She got her phone out. "Sit down and shut up. If you are thinking of calling or texting your lover, don't bother. Jennifer has already shown him the proof that we were too stupid to have." He flipped out and attacked Jennifer and is now sitting in jail. I don't know if you know, but you weren't his first, second, or third affair. He's lost everything, and by the way, so have you. Luna went back to sobbing and pleading with me that she was sorry. She kept asking what she could do to make it up to me. "Let's start with the suitcases you asked about. They are for you." I packed some clothes and things. "You are to get out. I don't care where you go." I picked up the packet the lawyer prepared. "This is the divorce agreement that you will sign. You will get 30% of our assets excluding the house. You will get reasonable visitation and will not have to pay child support. That visitation, of course, will have to be supervised." "What? Who the hell do you think you are, and why would I sign such a thing? First, I'm the husband of a cheating slut who has been banging the sleazeball neighbor for the last 6 months. Second, if you don't sign, we will have a very public trial where the hours of you and Joe's video will be broadcast. Finally, I would hate for these videos to go viral." "What about Izzy?" She bawled. "I don't know. How do you want to tell her that her mother is a cheating whore?" Luna curled up in a ball, wailing. Finally, she calmed down enough to read the paperwork. I'm not signing this. Fair enough. I skipped to another section of the video. Who would like me to send the first video to? Your parents or your principal? You will be in just as much trouble for sending that shit out. Oh, Luna, don't know who you're married to. Or should I say about to be formally married to. I'm an engineer. They will come from an untraceable account. Luna argued for a few more minutes till I threatened to hit send. She finally agreed. I had worn her down. She asked if she could go and get some personal items, to which I agreed. 5 minutes later, she was driving away in her car. The divorce agreement was signed. Epilogue. On Sunday, a car pulled into the driveway. It was Luna's father, Mr. Anderson. He came storming up to the house shouting that I had kicked his daughter out and he was not going to allow it. He said that his daughter had told him about the phony divorce agreement I made her sign. He was going to get it disallowed. I told him to shut the up and come in the house. Luna had not told him the real story. When I told him that his daughter was cheating, he threatened to kick my ass. I played the video for him and he shut up real quick. At first, he tried to claim the video had been doctored, but I told him I had hours if he wanted to see. His attitude changed once he saw the huge amount of evidence I had on his sweet daughter. He finally agreed that my proposal fair to keep the videos from going public. I thought he was more thinking of the shame that would come down on him rather than his daughter. His only request was that he and his wife remain part of Izzy's life. To that, I agreed. Once the paperwork was filed, I allowed Luna's dad to collect the rest of her things. Joe went to jail for a few months, then disappeared. Telling Izzy was the hardest thing I ever did. She was too young to understand what her mother had done. I told her that mommy and daddy weren't together anymore. I didn't blame her, but she seemed to believe that it was her mother's fault. Izzy didn't see her mother for 6 months. Her parents told me that she could face her, but later I found out that Luna had been in the hospital. Somehow, she had contracted an incurable STD. I suspected the good doctor, Jennifer, got her ultimate revenge on Joe and thereby punished my ex-wife in the same stroke. The doctors were able to get the rash under control, but it was highly contagious and not curable. Luna was told that sex for her was out of the question until and if a cure was ever found. Once I learned of the diagnosis, I petitioned the court to prohibit Luna from having any physical contact with her daughter. The court granted my modification of her visitation. 6 months later, Luna's mother called. I hope you're happy. Luna took a bunch of pills and now she is gone. This is all your fault. No, Mrs. Anderson, I'm not happy. I wasn't happy the day I found out your daughter was cheating on me. I wasn't happy when I had to tell your granddaughter that her mother had done things that made her have to leave our home and our family. I wasn't happy when I had to tell her that her mother had contracted a disease that would prevent her from physical contact with her mother. So, no, Mrs. Anderson, I'm not happy that I'm going to have to tell my daughter that her mother made such a complete mess of her life that she killed herself. I will not take the blame for your daughter's complete lack of morals. Mrs. Anderson, please just duck off. I didn't see Jennifer after Luna's funeral. She and Mary moved away. Before she left, I asked her if she knew anything about the STD that both Joe and Luna had contracted. She looked me in the eyes. That's a question you don't want to ask. Thank you for joining us on Unraveled Tales, where time itself unravels its captivating tales and reveals the hidden secrets of the past. Prepare to embark on an extraordinary journey as we delve into the depths of history, Reddit stories, bringing you riveting and immersive real stories from different eras. Remember, this channel exists because of your support, and I want it to be a place where we can all come together, learn, and have a great time. Your feedback is vital, and I appreciate every single suggestion and comment you provide. Thank you once again for being such an amazing audience. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel and stay connected with our community. I look forward to reading your valuable advice and working together to make our channel the best it can be.